Hi friends, my name is Chris.
And I'm Christina.
And this is Kino number 150. Hooray, we did it! So, what is Kino? So, if you haven't seen a Kino screening before, what Kino is a open mic film night. So that means if you made a film, come along to a night, bring the film, and we'll screen it. It's as simple as that. We don't have any pre-selection criteria. You could be of any skill level whatsoever. You could be someone who's never made a film before, or an industry professional that just wants to try something other than client work, that wants to get into making their own films. Kino is definitely the place to screen your ideas. And we are streaming now live through Sun Studios.
Yep. Now that you mentioned Sun Studios, a special shout out to Sun Studios for allowing us to screen in their space as well as use the gear. I also want to take a moment to acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, as we pay tribute to those elders past, present and emerging. It's also probably worth mentioning too, a special thank you to those behind the scenes helping us with the show tonight. We've got Brian, John, David, Addie, Donna and Nick helping us out tonight. What do you want to mention about Nick?
So Nick very kindly has been helping us out with our live streaming services tonight. He's also, you might have noticed a couple of Kinos ago, he screened a film which he was doing for something that he was involved with called Lockdown Lives. So I believe we have a wee little trailer that we'd like to screen now for you.
Shake back.
Well, what am I gonna do?
Oop. All right. So, just a little spiel on Lockdown Lives. This was started at the beginning of the pandemic, and what Nick and several other mates decided to do was they wanted to get together and just regularly make films during this time about the pandemic, what it's done to impact their lives, and just to tell the stories within there. So their next screening is this Thursday on the 18th at 7 p.m, which you can see more information on the Lockdown Lives Facebook page.
Now, before we start, I just want to mention that we are live stream at the moment, but we have pre-recorded some of the interviews, well, all of the interviews with the directors. Most of them will be available online if you have any questions to ask them. But let's get cracking into it. First up, we've got Natasha's film, Lemmy.
Still there? Come outside, such nice weather.
No, I don't want to.
Why not? There was a bowl for lizards.
It's boring. I want a friend.
Oh, I was your brother.
No, stop. Leave me alone.
Come on now, don't be so sour. You're just like a lemon. Hop, go outside.
Oh, okay. What? You like it? Oh, hold on. You can't even see. What's your name, actually? Oh, you don't have one. Well, I'll give you one. What about Lemmy? Haha, you like it? I knew you would. Well, I'm Noah. Lemmy, do you want to be friends? Yeah! Grr! Oh, Lemmy, don't be scared. They won't hurt you. You're my best friend. Let me help you. See? Much better. Reptiles ruled the earth for 160 million years. When dinosaurs were alive, reptiles roamed the land, sea and sky. We'll finish the rest tomorrow. Do you want some of this cookie, Lemmy? It's really good. You like it? I knew you would like it. You know what? Let's go play hide and seek. 8, 9, 10. Ready or not, here I come. Lemonade! No! Lemmy! Mama, I got a limey!
And now we have Natasha with us. Thanks for screening again at Kino.
You're welcome.
Now, this film in particular was made for Pivot Film Festival, is that right?
Yeah, correct, yeah.
And that was like a 48-hour film challenge?
Yeah, it was a 48-hour film challenge, so
Could you tell us a little bit more about Pivot? Because I'm not sure about you. I've actually not heard of it.
it's just a 48-hour film challenge festival that screens, I don't even know, maybe once a month. I think this was the first one that I joined.
How did you find, because you had a child actor working within 48 hours to film, how was that process?
Well, it actually worked really well. The kid was really, took the directions really easily and loves acting as well. So it was easier than I thought it would be. And actually she came with a lot of ideas as well. So where I thought that a certain angle would work, for example, she was like, oh, maybe you should do the other way around. That way that looks better. And that was actually really fun to interact that way, as she wants to be in film at some point as well. So that was quite easy and a lot of fun, I would say.
I guess what equipment did you use? Because I noticed there were some nice, smooth dolly shots. Like, did you have like a gimbal at all?
Yeah, I'm using my Olympus camera at the time without an external microphone actually, and then attached to a gimbal.
And how did you come about with like the concept?
Well, it's funny because when I read about that film festival, or I saw it on Instagram, I think, I sat down with the two kids I babysit. One of them is the one you see in the film. And I was like, all right, guys, we have 48 hours to submit a film. or like at the time it was like a little longer. So we didn't know the prop yet. And then I was like, tomorrow we will hear the prop. Then we have 48 hours to submit a film. If you come with a great idea, we're gonna film it and just see what happens. So the day after we heard it was a lemon you had to use, and then we just brainstormed a bit, and then this idea basically came up with the three of us. So the one who cuts the lemon is the little brother. Yeah, and that way it actually the idea came up.
Have the kids seen at all Castaway with Tom Hanks? Or?
No.
I guess I also wanted to see if the lime made it through. Is the lime still around?
Yeah. Well, the lime made it into a lemon. Like, well, the whole message of the film basically is, I'm not sure if I got your question right, by the way, but
I noticed that at the end of the film, because you had the central character was the lemon, but at the end it looked like a lime dropped. So I was wondering, did it have the same faith as the lemon, or did the lime continue to exist?
Yeah, exactly. No, so the whole message of the film basically is that everything is replaceable. So you saw that right, that the lemon becomes a lime. Did I say it right? Yeah. So you hear the kid also yelling at some point or whatever to the mom, "Mama, I found a limey," or something, where the lemon was called Lemmy. So tiny little detail. So it changes into a lime, which is like, the kid has the same love now apparently for it as for the lemon. So it's just everything is replaceable.
Okay, that's interesting. Very detailed, or like subtly detailed.
Yeah, but you saw that right. It was a lime at the end, and we did that on purpose.
Was that something you workshopped like on the day when you were sitting on the steps?
That we decided to, let's make it a lime, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, we had already the idea. It would be cool if something happens with Lemmy, and then the character would be really, really sad or upset, which on screen it's not as upset as I wanted it to be, but and then something needs to happen. How fun would it be if there is another lemon? And then I think the actual kid, Noah in the film, said, why don't we make it a lime? That's actually so cool. And then I thought, well, that's a good idea. So this is where like we all had, how do you say that in English?
Input?
Yeah, exactly. We all had input in the film, and we just changed it as we go, or as we went.
So it was constantly
Evolving?
evolving, yeah, as you were filming.
Yeah. So we would just sit there, go through the script, and thinking, well, because it's only 48 hours, right? So you have not a lot of time to think everything through, and if it actually works or is fun. So as we were going, we thought, maybe this is actually not as fun as we thought it was. Maybe let's do it differently. At some point they're drinking tea, and we didn't have that cookie, or no, they were drinking tea instead of eating a cookie. And then we thought, why don't we make it like a cookie, because you can actually crumble it a bit, and it might be more fun to watch that. So we've changed that as we were filming the tea, and it just didn't work.
So I understand you're making another film with Noah. Is that also this other film that you've worked with him? Is that the similar premise, in that you've evolved the script as you've shot it?
The new film, you mean? I'm making?
Yeah.
No, I've actually sat down. So Lemmy and also Raincheck, the one before, I've made like only with myself. So there was no other input, only the kids in Lemmy then. But still in 48 hours. The one I'm making right now, I've actually sat down with a friend who's a filmmaker as well, to go through the exact idea, then slowly make a script, so that like we literally thought that all through. We have changed some stuff while shooting, but I think you always have that you just try different options. But it's definitely more scripted. the one I'm making now.
And not done in 48 hours.
And not done in 48 hours. No, this is already, whew, we're talking about the idea, well, only for a month now, but we have done 3 days of shooting and we're not done yet. And then everything goes to the animator, so it definitely takes longer.
Do you find making a film within a 48-hour time constraint a lot more easier than making a film with a much larger, I suppose, time frame to work in?
I think so, yes, because that 48 hours is really pushing you to your limits and what you can do, and there is a deadline, so I find it quite hard. For example, with the film I'm making right now, there's no deadline, there's no one who's going to tell me tomorrow it needs to be finished, except for my friend who's asking me, like, hey, how's the edit going? So as long as no one is pushing me, really, where that 48 hours is doing that, I just really take my time as well. So for me, 48 hours definitely works. Give me a limit and I'm gonna do it. I just think you will see it in the end result, because obviously you have only so much time. So there's not a lot you can change if it doesn't go right. Because it's just giving you that limit, and I take long. So if no one sets a limit for me or a deadline, I will just take whatever time. If something goes wrong in 48, so you will see that obviously in the end result, because in 48 hours there's not a lot you can change if it goes wrong, or if it turns out being less good as you thought it would be, where if you have all the time you need, you obviously can change it. But to me personally, yeah, if you want to let me make a film, just give me a deadline and I will make sure it's there.
Much the same way in that. So I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that.
Probably, yeah.
Is there plans for the next film to then go into specific festivals, or?
We will have a look around, definitely, what is around festival-wise. I haven't looked yet because I just don't know when it's going to be finished. But yeah, I think, yeah, for sure, we'll have a look around.
Cool.
Well, thanks for screening again at Kino. It's always great to see people come back.
Thank you.
And we hope to see more from you as well.
Yeah, well, once the other one is finished, or if I make another one in between, I will definitely let you guys know. Would love to submit again.
Cool. Yeah, no, we'd love to see that.
Sweet.
All right. Well, thanks, Natasha.
Thank you, Natasha.
And welcome back. We were just watching ourselves while that was happening, and we thought we'd put a competition out there to see which of us had the most craziest eyes, because I seem to think so, but Chris thinks otherwise. So I'm going to put the poll out to you. Who has the crazy eyes? I think it's me. Just saying.
All right, you go first.
Oh, okay, we're going to do the...
All right,
All right, you go first.
Okay. This is great television.
Go for it. Okay, great. Ready, Christine? Okay, great.
All right. So we'll leave that to you. And we'll play... Wait, no, we've got trivia.
Oh, yeah,
We have trivia.
that's
We're
right.
doing trivia.
Oh, I forgot
Trivia
about
is
that.
back on.
So, the way that this will work is I will read out a question, and in the chat, if you type the answer, the first person who gets the correct answer wins a prize. We will get in contact with you, get through your details, and we'll get back to you shortly. So, first question. Sorry?
On YouTube.
On YouTube,
Yeah,
on the YouTube chat, yes. So, yes, first question, who directed 8½?
Easy.
Yeah, nice easy one.
Yeah,
I thought
it's pretty
we wouldn't
easy.
go Two nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll wait for a response, but in the meantime,
We will just stare at you.
Yeah. And while we play the next film, which is
Oh yes, that's me. Yes. So the next film we'll have is Lockdown Training 101 by Jerome.
Hi Jerome, welcome to have you back.
Hi, thanks for having me. Hello, Christina. Hi, Chris.
So first up, thank you for submitting your film tonight.
Oh, thank you. Thanks so much for putting these movies on for us. Really appreciate it.
So I guess you were just a good place to start off with. It seems like you've been using your time in lockdown productively by training yourself up, not just for shopping, but I believe you were training for or training yourself in motion graphics. Is that correct?
Yeah. Like an impulse purchase during COVID, I bought program Mocha Pro, and just justifying that purchase by trying to use masks and incorporate it with motion graphics and so forth.
And so how did you feel about the exercises that you set for yourself? Did you feel like you took a lot from that?
Yeah, especially about learning about this plugin that I purchased, Mocha Pro. Definitely did a lot of YouTube searching and learning from a lot of tutorials, and found out a lot about how to mask and motion track quite a bit using that program. Particularly, there's a scene in the film where there's a mobile phone, and basically motion tracked the screen and was able to put like a new graphic on the screen, and also be able to utilize motion blur and stuff. So I was really happy what I learnt about how to do that quite well.
What made you curious about learning motion graphics and incorporating that into your films?
Basically, I was watching this guy's YouTube channel. It's called Surface Studio. I believe his name's Tobias. And I came across a really good tutorial of him where he was really talking about this plugin and saying that was really cool. And also, I really wanted to make use of motion graphics as well. So I thought getting that plugin would make it easier to motion track myself and be able to put graphics behind or on top in a really kind of sort of playful way. And yeah, I was really curious how I could sort of do that. And I also just mentioned in that YouTube video I watched as well, he was saying that this plugin Mocha Pro works a lot better than some of the rotoscoping tools and motion tracking in After Effects. So quite curious to see how that would work out, and really pleased with the outcome.
And I see that Lumi made another appearance.
Yes, so yeah, and I'm really happy you guys remembered Lumi. Yeah, it was really that was really spontaneous how she jumped into that shot. It's really was really great that happened. Yeah, she just saw me running around in the backyard and just
So she just wrote herself into the script, basically.
Yeah, she just crashed the script and jumped in and saw me being crazy in the backyard and thought I had to be disciplined a bit and jumped in. What are you doing? Like, why are you running around? No one's gonna understand what you're doing in this film. Just come up with another idea. Just stop. Just call cut, and it's not a good idea.
I just assumed she was doing the obstacle course with you.
No, it did look that way. Yeah, and I was really happy with her. It was sort of jumping around, really athletic and stuff like that. But yeah, now that you mention it, yeah, I think maybe when I go shopping next time, it would be a pretty handy partner to take with me, and we could probably half the time I take in grocery shopping. She could take care of certain aisles, and I could take care of the groceries, and yeah, that would be really productive, I think.
Yeah, I guess one last question is, do you have any words of wisdom or advice for anyone that's wishing to learn a new filmmaking skill or just skill in general?
Yeah, I mean, particularly filmmaking, just even watching like a YouTube tutorial, just like a short one, like 5-10 minutes or like 20 minutes at the most, I've found. It's just, if you do that like maybe once a day and just follow as much as you can with what they're doing in that tutorial, either with your own footage, or they often provide in like the YouTube link of footage of their own that you can use to follow along in their tutorial. I found that's just been a really good way to learn and just really apply that the techniques in your next product, and also just to learn the software that you're using. So that would be something that I'd really recommend anyone to do.
Yeah, thanks for screening again. It was a real pleasure and a treat.
Yeah.
No, thank you. No, absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your continual work in creating this community for us and screening all our movies. It's just, it's invaluable, and I definitely recommend it to anyone to get involved. Yeah, it's really quite satisfying.
Cool.
Thanks.
Thanks so much, Jerome. See you next time.
Thank you, Christina. Thank you. See you next time.
And we're back in the room. Crossing over to David Kang, who's been monitoring the chat. Do we have a winner from the trivia?
Tommaso Ottorino says Fellini, and he corrected himself to Fellinoi, but I think we get the message.
Yep.
Yeah.
Federico Fellini.
Congratulations. Any news on the polling between the eyes?
Yeah, Iffy from Melbourne says Chris has a crazy smile. Should we go to specify which Chris?
Okay.
And Nathaniel Johnson. Chris's expression was more of him having an unwanted fart in a crowded room.
Good
Good
to know.
see you haven't lost your host magic, bub. Amy Hill. Psycho Eyes Chris Hale. I can see him saying, it submits the film in the festival. And Amy responded, how do you think you got the host
That's exactly how that interview went down.
Cool. Well, looks like you're topping the polls in the crazy eyes, which
Not necessarily. I think people just have more catty things to say about me.
I think they're afraid to say something catty about me, but do it.
Do you
I'll
want them
take
to?
it. Yeah, sure. It's sexist that he's getting all the the catty comments. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, segue. Next film is Little Red Riding Hood by Jose Daniel Garcia Bernal.
Os voy a contar un cuento. Eras una vez una chica muy guapa y muy buena. Aunque a veces era un poquito rabiosa. Bueno, como todos los niños. Un día te regalaron una chaqueta roja. Se la puso y ya nunca se la volvió a quitar. Todo el mundo la llamaba Caperucita Roja. Un día su mamá le preparó una cestita llena de comidita. Tienes que llevarle esta cestita a tu abuelita, dijo su mamá. Pero ten cuidado con el lobo listillo. Vive en el bosque y seguro que te engaña. Cuando de repente apareció el lobo. ¿Dónde vas, Caperucita?, dijo el lobo. Voy a llevarle esta comidita a mi abuelita. El lobo pensó, si llego antes que Caperucita, me la puedo comer a ella, a su abuela y a la cestita. Así que tomó un atajo y mandó a Caperucita por un camino mucho más largo. El lobo llegó en un periquete. Mientras Caperucita seguía dando vueltas como un burro en un garaje. La abuelita, que no sabía nada, leía un libro tranquilamente. Y por fin llegó Caperucita. Abuelita, abuelita, ¿qué ojos más grandes tienes? Pero Caperucita, que es un lobo. Abuelita, abuelita, ¿qué orejas más grandes tienes? ¿Que te va a comer? Esta chica necesita gafas. Abuelita, abuelita, ¿qué boca más grande tienes? ¡Ah! La pobrecita niña salió corriendo a pedir ayuda y pudo escapar por los pelos. Así que al final, todos felices. Bueno, todos. Y colorín colorado, este cuento se ha acabado.
Hi guys, this is Daniel from Spain. I'm going to show a movie we made during the lockdown together with my wife and with my daughter. We were just trying to spend some time together to have fun. We didn't have budget, we didn't have any script, and I find working with my daughter was very nice. It was very hard to get her in front of the camera, but once you did that, she was surprisingly good. Easy to work with her and willing to try a lot of things. So yeah, I had a very good time, and I'm definitely will be doing more things with her. I studied cinema there in Sydney like 10 years ago, and this is my first movie in 10 years, so I'm really happy to share it with you. And I would like to thank also my friend Christina to introduce me to Kino. Hopefully I will be following it, and I will be sending more things to you. So I hope you enjoy it. Bye.
Okay. So I said Daniel's name wrong. It's not Bernal, because I was thinking of Gael Garcia Bernal, the actor. It's Bermejo, and I'm probably mispronouncing it anyway. So apologies, but I think we're friends, so it's all good. It's all good.
Watching it again, it's just so wonderfully charming, that film.
Yeah, I love it.
And little Zoe's amazing.
I know, she's so good. Yeah, I spoke to Daniel last night, and he mentioned that they showed the film to her classmates, and they're all like, after that, she's just become such a diva at home, which I love. But yeah, Daniel, if you're watching, make sure you keep making films.
Yes, please do, because that was so wonderful to see.
Yeah.
We'd love to see more from you, mate.
Yeah. So what's up next?
Up next is a Letter to Gabriel by our regular Josh.
Memory. Hidden. Shown. Waiting. Remembering. Laughing. Another time. Maybe soon. Abandoned. Fragments. Echoes. Procrastinating. Disappointing. Understanding. Locked inside. Everywhere closed. Buried. Family. Friends. Caring. Loving. Living. The world got smaller. Remembered. My lockdown is my dad, my dog, and my memories.
Now we go to our filmmaker, Josh. Thank you for screening with us tonight.
Thanks for having me, guys. Yeah.
It's a bit of a departure from your usual work.
I don't really know what you're talking about there. This is actually my first time screening at Kino, so yeah, I'm not too sure what I remember that.
So yeah, I believe this was sort of like a video pen pal made in Uruguay. Could you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. So this was like a complete experiment. I'm involved in this kind of top secret international collaboration, which is essentially a video diary project where we're connected with a filmmaker somewhere else around the world that we've never met before. And we kind of deliver like a pen pal video letter about our lives. So I was tasked to write a letter to a person in Uruguay, and that's kind of what you saw.
How did you get involved?
I can't really talk about that yet, but it will all come out very soon. It's still evolving, so there's going to be a series of these video diaries that lots of filmmakers are doing. For me, it was like a big experiment. I'd never really tried to formulate a short video diary in this kind of structure before. And I thought it would be really fun to kind of step away from usual expository methods of filmmaking and kind of just try and tell a story visually, but then also with keywords. So I'd never really experimented with that format before, so I started with this thing called a didactic syncane, which I'd never heard about before, but it's a really nice way of just summarizing a topic in terms of words rather than syllables. And then I kind of went and filmed a whole bunch of stuff based on the feeling of those words, put it into the edit, then I animated some keywords to see how that felt. Then I recorded the voiceover, turned the vision off, and just kind of listened and was trying to see if the meaning would be the same. And yeah, I was trying to convey things through, you know, the visual storytelling, but also just these keywords that kind of conveyed a slightly different story as well. So it was a complete experiment. I don't know if I'd even call it a film at this point. It's more just like a video diary about my lockdown.
When we saw the film, we were thinking very much like it was a portrait of your time during lockdown and various emotions you were going through at that point. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really interesting because everyone's lockdown around the world's been completely different, and particularly in South America and Uruguay and places like that, it's like very bad at the moment. So this was filmed back in May, and so this was right in the middle. It was a really awkward time between can we go outside, can we not go outside? I definitely very much have not spent much time outside because I've got so many like health problems that could come up or whatever. No, nothing compared to like some people obviously, but I definitely haven't taken my chances. So for me, it was like very much this in-between limbo zone between, you know, what can I do, what can't I do? And I've kind of just been spending a lot of time at home watching my dad paint and writing and playing with my dog. So I was like, maybe there's something in that. I don't know.
One of the things that felt very apparent was at the start, it felt very kind of, well, the feelings I was getting was this sort of frustration that I'm stuck here, I can't do much. And that by the end of this portrait, it kind of feels like you found this renewed connection with like elements that you might not have had a chance to before the lockdown. Would that be correct?
I think so. I think I'm trying to get at the part that, you know, even though we are kind of all stuck inside and we all were stuck inside not doing much, it's still kind of time to reflect. It's still time to kind of look at what you're doing now and looking what you can do in the future. But I also think it's important not to get too caught up in the, you know, if you've always wanted to do that thing, there's never been a better time like the present to do it now because you've got all this time on your hands. Because I also think that the whole toxic productivity thing is like can be really bad. So I think I was trying to kind of see myself as, okay, where have the last few months gone? What am I doing now? And where am I going? And so there is that shift in the scene where like we go outside and you can kind of see people also outside. And that was actually one of my first times that I'd like left the house other than to like go to the grocery store, go for a walk with my dog, really basic stuff. So I actually couldn't believe how many people were out and also at the supermarket. And I think that's fine. Everyone has to kind of deal with this in their own way. And now I think where we are now is really interesting because everything's being opened up. But simultaneously, everyone's a little bit nervous about what's happening. So yeah, I think I was kind of just, you know, reflecting on where I've been, where I am and where I'm going. And I think hopefully a lot of people can relate to that right now. So yeah.
Yeah, I found you had a lot of really considered shots in the film. Like just when you were outside, the shots of like, are you okay? kind of really puts you in that sense of what we all experience currently in lockdown. And then also the final shot with your dad painting. It was such a painter's portrait. I loved that end shot with your dad off the side of the camera and the dog just like sits down and looks at you. It was totally see that you'd probably be so heavily influenced from your dad in that shot. It was so well composed, and you could really see how thoughtful it was, I guess, when you're dealing with words and images and melting them together. It's probably not much of a question, but more of a statement.
Thank you for saying that. It was a big experiment, just in the back to that experimentation phase of just I wasn't really concerned with, is this a film? Is it going to work? Is it not? I was just kind of trying to look around my house, trying to make the ordinary extraordinary, kind of going, how could I frame this seemingly really boring thing in my bedroom to evoke something? And that's I was trying to do that, I guess. I was trying to evoke something. Maybe that worked, maybe it didn't. And then also filming things in quite an observational, fly-on-the-wall kind of way. I think there might have been one moment where I said, oh, Dad, can you pat my dog again? That was really nice, because it's a shorthand to kind of make people go, oh, he's patting the dog, oh, he's feeding the dog. Oh. Just playing around with little emotional cues like this. And yeah, the signs outside, when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, gotta film that. That's perfect. The Are You Okay sign. There was some restraint in how I was putting it together. Definitely never made a film this way before, just trying to write a little poetic structure first, and then going, okay, what can I film around that poetic structure? And then recording a voiceover, turning the footage off, trying to get one level of meaning, and then trying to create another meaning just visually. I'd like to do more of these, so I'm really looking forward to doing that. I'm not sure what the themes are going to be, if they're going to be similar or different, but it's definitely been a big experiment. So yeah, I'd encourage anyone to kind of just reflect on their own lives and kind of go, oh, what's a story that I can tell right now? And it can be just a little snapshot like this was.
Yeah, it's really well done. I'm also quite curious. I know you can't speak much about the project that you're involved in, but do you know how it was received by your film pal in Uruguay? And
not yet. They are going to send a video response. My letter was actually based on their first letter to me, and so they were showing a lot of their photos of their life and their life day to day in Uruguay. So I was actually also trying to mirror some of their scenes. So Gabriel started his scene with just some photos, and so I was also thought, okay, maybe I should start also reflecting on photos and see where that takes me. So there's a little bit of bookending going on with my video diary and his. It's been a really interesting process, and really looking forward to doing more.
Fantastic. Yeah, I would love to see more from you in this sort of direction, because I believe that you have a feature that's about to be screened in the Melbourne International Film Festival. Is that correct?
Yes, I know. It's yes, I've just finished a feature documentary, and I'm really excited to announce it's screening at the Melbourne Documentary Film Festival online edition, which goes from June 30th to the 15th of July.
Congratulations.
Yeah, fantastic.
Do you want to tell us a bit about your film?
Basically, it's called The World's Best Film. I know, right? What? And essentially, it's all about people striving their best at their passions. And I filmed it all over the world between 2014 and 2020. And it all actually started in 2014 when I was actually told that I might not have much time left to live. Completely out of the blue, and I was told to stop everything I was doing, stay inside and do nothing. And this was obviously before the pandemic, and I kind of just started thinking, what would I do if I was given a second chance at life? And in that moment, you kind of think about all the things you're never going to be able to do again, all the friends and family you're going to leave behind, and you're also thinking, damn, there's a lot of things I want to do if I had more time. And so I started thinking, what would I do if I got a second chance? And I was lucky enough to get that second chance. And that's kind of where the film, the idea to make the world's best film began.
What does it mean to be the best at what you do? Who decides you are the best? I studied to become a lawyer even though I dreamt of making films. Growing up in an immigrant family, being the best meant studying to gain a respectable profession and make an honest living. But while I was studying, doctors discovered a tumor between my lungs and heart. Instantly, my priorities shifted, and I was told that I might not have much time left. so much time worrying about small things and not following my heart. I wanted to do something meaningful with the time I had left. I wanted to travel the world and talk with people that were following what they always dreamt of doing, what they were passionate about and not what the world had told them to be.
I really don't want to change the world. I just want to improve it.
เรานับถืออยู่ที่จิตใจเราเจิมได้หมดคิดดีทำดีเอา
I wanted to find people that were striving to be the absolute best.
Well, everyone is good at something.
These are the stories I found on my 5-year journey to make the world's best film.
But there's no nominations for this.
I'm really curious to see this.
Yeah, like based off the trailer alone, it looks fantastic and fascinating to see. Like you interviewing all these different characters.
The continuum of human experience documented is quite wide. I think we go from, you know, the world's best town planner to the world's best griller of bananas. So there is a very big, wide human experience documented. We went to about 10 countries across 3 continents, so it was a massive journey. I learnt a lot about myself. I learnt a lot of lessons of filmmaking, a lot of personal lessons. And I'm just really excited to finally show it online. Obviously, you know, a lot of screenings and festivals have been cancelled, and I'm really chuffed that the Melbourne Documentary Film Festival has programmed this online, and you can watch it from the comfort of your living room or your bedroom or your TV room or wherever you're going to watch it. So I'm really excited to hear from everyone about what they think, and then I'm also excited to hear what people think they might be the world's best at. For me, that's really rewarding, and this whole idea of being the best, you know, it can be enough that you just affirm it, that you say, you know what, I really wanted to juggle spoons my whole life, so I'm going to be the world's best spoon juggler. Great. Go out and do it. Just make it happen. It doesn't matter that you're the Guinness World Records, you know, best at whatever you're doing. And this was like a really profound, kind of obvious realization that I had while talking to so many people that were doing so many eccentric and amazing things. And they were all just making a life rather than a living, and I thought that was really nice, that they're really deriving, you know, a sense of self from their passions. And I think that's really important, especially in the world we live in right now. Some of us are privileged enough to have lots of time on our hands inside, that we can start thinking about what do we actually want to spend our time on and with, and what do we want to spend our time doing.
Yeah, that's a wonderful sentiment. Thank you so much, Josh, for sharing with us tonight. I think we'll definitely spruik the link for your film when it's available and out there. So, yeah. We'll let everyone know when it's out.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate it.
All right. See you, Josh.
All right. See you guys. Ciao.
And thanks again for Josh for providing us with that wonderful trailer. Yes, we'll hopefully have the links available soon when they're available, I guess.
Just check out our website, well, on our Facebook and Instagram for a link. And yeah, check out the festival, the Doco Film Festival in Melbourne.
And also, if you want a chance to talk to Josh, I believe he and Daniel, who made the previous film, is available on the YouTube chat right now to have a chat with us. How's that going, by the way, Dave?
So we've got Josh is actually online, engaged in dialogue with other viewers. So, yep, given a shout out by KS saying, looks fascinating, Josh. Synaptic TV, or Ollie, says, any film with a toilet tour guide is winning, which Josh definitely agrees to. Jolene Jiang says, I studied to be a lawyer, but decided to take a creative path too. So very excited to watch the document and see your journey.
Cool.
Yeah, and I added, I studied to be a lawyer and became one. Lame.
Fantastic. So yeah, I guess we'll do another round of trivia.
Yeah. So what has David Lynch started doing again, starting from May of this year?
Daily.
Yeah, daily. He's doing it daily since May. Used to do it before, and now he's back.
He's back, baby.
Yeah.
All right, and I believe now we'll move on to Triage Hostage by Andrew Weil.
Yeah, before the 5th.
Oh, Susan, 5 o'clock. Don't forget my operation of heart consultation. It is very important.
Is it at 5?
It is at 5, but I need him to be with me. No, it's at 5.
Do you have time?
I should check my schedule, but
Please.
I don't have anything to do.
I also have an operation. And I want a room and. What time? It's 6 o'clock. Come on.
What kind
my
of
operation
disease?
will last longer than 1 hour. What are we going to do?
I think we have a 2 operation room, I hope. And there will, another will be free.
Yes, please.
No, right, please.
No,
Mrs.
No, please, come down. Please, hello.
I'm sorry. I'm doctor.
No,
I'm doctor.
Yes, she's very near.
You are the police.
What's happening
No,
here?
please.
Call the security and
No.
let's work out.
Calm down, please.
I'm sorry.
My boyfriend is died. And who is my doctor?
Who is your patient?
It's a serious problem. He is your boyfriend's doctor.
Who's
Yes.
Whose relative are you? We will
Calm
listen to you,
down.
okay? And also, we are in the middle of a meeting. And
What is his name? What's happening here?
Okay.
What's this?
Okay, calm down.
Can you help me?
Will you help me? Just calm down.
just
Who
calm
are
down.
you?
Please calm down. We exactly don't
Give us
know
two
if
names.
he's lying.
Give us
You are the
doctor.
I am a doctor. No, don't talk to him.
What? Why?
Because he's helping.
I tried my
She's
best.
sitting here, you know, and
Yeah, it's a
he's
meeting
doing-
now. And
What?
Yes, they are
yeah,
discussing
it's a
about
meeting. We
your...
are discussing about other things.
Can you help
Lady,
me?
don't do
Oh,
this.
Okay, calm down. Shh.
Stop.
We will help you. Calm down, lady. Now.
Really?
Calm down.
When you will
Don't worry.
help
Let's
me?
go. Let's see your boyfriend. Come on.
No.
Yes, he's
Okay,
coming with
but
us.
you cannot
You
behave
are
like
the
this,
doctor.
okay?
Where's
What's your
director?
problem?
Where's
Mrs. What's your
where's-
problem? What do you want?
What
From
I
him.
want?
Nobody can behave me
I
like this,
want
like you do.
help me. My
But you can
boyfriend
just
need
be
help.
kind and you can just
He's
ask
died.
in the
Here,
right way.
Blood here. From
Come
here comes
on.
blood.
Okay,
Just give
but-
us a chance to
yes.
see him. Let's go.
Yes, let's
Come
go.
on. Let's
Get
go.
home and
Come on, come on, come on, come on.
please. And
Quick.
don't behave
Please,
anyone.
please, show us your boyfriend. Come on, come down.
Yeah, hi. Hello, everyone. Great to be on this Kino Cabaret screening in the new way of doing things, which I'm sure we'll get so used to in the future. Anyway, I'm not particularly used to it at the moment, but it's nice to talk about the film that I've made. This is a little film called Triage Hostage, which I shot in Georgia, the country which is down in the south of Russia, really. Used to be part of the USSR. It's European and a fabulous place to go. It's on the Black Sea and not far away from Turkey and other countries like this. So I went there because I was invited to show some films at the Batumi International Art House Film Festival, and they asked me to do some master tapes while I was there. So I did these master tapes with students from Batumi University and also from other parts of Georgia. And I got on very well with them. All the students had got a pretty high level of English because I didn't have any Russian or any Georgian that I could talk. So we made the film. I planned it out very quickly, gave them the situation, and they all jumped into it. All of them sort of director actors, but they performed as actors in this instance, and they jumped into it very quickly and understood exactly what we were trying to do. And it's about 2 minutes, I think 2.5 minutes. Tried to get some tension. Wasn't difficult really, because Georgia has had a war quite recently, a war with Russia, and everyone there knew what it was like to live in a country where there was tension. So I congratulated the actors very much. I acted in it myself just a little bit, but basically I was controlling the production of it as the producer-director. And I'll leave it for you and hope that you enjoy it. It's set in Batumi, that city on the Black Sea, not far from the border of Turkey, and also very close to Russia. So I hope you enjoy it. My name's Andrew Vile. I'm an actor, and I'm willing to act in practically anything that people come up with, so long as it's being done professionally and with a lot of dedication. Thank you.
Here we go.
There we go. So David, has anyone responded back to our trivia question?
Joshua Belafonte has guessed weather reports.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's correct. Well done, Josh.
Yeah, congrats. We'll send you a little prize later on. So next up we have This Guy I Like by Daniel Pollock. Content warning, it's a little bit saucy.
There's this guy I like. I don't see a lot of guys, but of the guys I've seen, he's the best. I'm not sure he knows I'm here, but I keep him safe, and that makes me happy. Sometimes I get excited watching him sleep. I let out just a little squeal, and he looks at me. Just looks at me. Only me. He cooks a lot. I like that. It means I get what I need. When he touches me, I feel wanted. And when I want a little more, when I need him more than anything, I give him a little more. I get giddy knowing what's coming. He opens me, and I let him. It feels good. And it makes
BJ.
feel
Yeah.
big.
Filmonic, right? Okay. Yeah. He's watching.
Hey, do you mind if I smoke in here?
But it can get hard. I know him and I are not the same. He couldn't know, but it hurts. It makes me feel like I'm not there. There's another one above me. I think we're the same. Sometimes it hurts, but I think they'd feel the same up there. He doesn't always care, but I still do. I'm sure we'll meet one day. Maybe up there.
Well, now we have the filmmaker here with us, Daniel. Welcome back to Kino.
Thank you, thank you. No, it's been a while. Happy to be here.
Yeah, I guess first up, what served the inspiration for your film?
Pretty much looking at the roof and wondering if my if my alarm was in love with me. But ultimately, a mate of mine had a film festival on. It's the Cannes Film Festival, CANS. So you can say you went to Cannes, it's great. But he needed a film to kind of go up because they were trying to get as many as they could in. I put something together in about 2 days for him, and it turned out pretty well. So it was just me trying to punch something out real quick, real silly, and it turned out pretty well. I'm pretty proud of it.
Was the movie Her, by any chance, also a source of inspiration?
It's very Her, isn't it? I do love that movie. I wouldn't cite it as a conscious source of inspiration, but I've seen it a couple of times. It's always pretty strong in my thoughts and in my heart. So I wouldn't say that I was consciously thinking of it while I was making it, but I was definitely inspired by that filmmaking and inspired by that piece just generally, by the number of times I've seen it and the kind of my exposure to it. So that's kind of my thinking behind it, that it's not a conscious influence, but an influence nonetheless.
I do have to come clean and say that I actually haven't seen Her, so I get the general premise of like a relationship with.
Well, you got her in 4 minutes.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't just the subject matter, but you kind of executed the it was also the pacing of your 4-minute piece that made me think of her as well.
Yeah, definitely had that sort of slow, melancholic kind of, would you say contemplative, I think that's a word, kind of attitude to it. So, yeah, that's definitely kind of, we shared a tone, definitely.
Was Her much more sympathetic towards the, for lack of a better word, artificial intelligence?
Yeah, it was quite sympathetic. I guess that would probably be the source of difference there, where I decided to go from that perspective, that specific perspective. Oftentimes it's a human, outside human influence kind of as your way in, I guess. Whereas I found I enjoyed the challenge of trying to make you laugh and cry over a fucking smoke alarm. that was my goal, really.
I definitely feel sympathy for the fire alarm.
Yeah, no, I want to. It's really what I wanted to build. Just any sort of feel, if I can make you feel for a smoke alarm, like I think I've done my job really.
What was I going to ask? I was going to ask something really smart. Oh yeah, lighting.
What's lighting?
What is lighting? Looking at the film, I noticed it felt like you were using a lot of like the natural lighting from your room. Was that the case?
It was the case, yeah. I would say that was more of a pragmatic issue than it was a creative one. It definitely added to that sort of warmer, sort of lowish energy kind of vibe to it, I think. However, it was definitely more of a we don't have any lights kind of choice than it was a creative choice. But ultimately, I think it added to the sort of tone of it, the fact that we were able to use that natural lighting. We shot it pretty quickly, so we were able to kind of maintain a pretty consistent lighting for the majority of it, or we could kind of move it around the way that kind of the days and the nights shifted throughout the piece. So ultimately, when we did use the natural light, we were able to kind of shape it a little bit. We were using lamps, bedroom light, or things like that. So we were able to shape it a little bit, but ultimately, we just used what we had on hand.
Art through adversity.
Yeah, basically, man. I am one of the most adversely challenged people there are. Of course, the system was against me entirely as a fat white man.
So how long did it take to shoot all up?
Between conception to edit was about 2 days.
Oh, so a really tight frame.
Shooting the thing took about 5-ish hours. We shot it real quick. We just knocked it out as quick as we could. Like, I had a pretty good idea of what I wanted it to look like. I just told I made sure the DOP was kind of on the same page. Scotty, you saw Scotty Peters in the titles there. He's fantastic. He was he shot that with very little knowledge of what's going on. Of like, I was able to just kind of run him through it briefly, and I think he was coming down off an acid trip as well. So he had he'd had a pretty big afternoon already. But no, he was fantastic. I was able to just. He had no prep, not no understanding, but he had no foreknowledge of what was happening, and was just able to drop on in and shoot something that was pretty quality in the end. So, we shot it over the space of about probably 5 hours around there, and I just went straight into the edit that night, and then I was pretty much done the next morning. Obviously, I didn't do a whole lot of polishing or anything. The sound design's probably very sloppy. There's no major color grading or anything. It was just kind of good to go as is. And again, that was a pragmatic thing for my mate's festival. I wanted to get it done. Wanted to smash it out. Ultimately, this is a story of quick and effective pragmatism.
So from the time you completed the film, when did it screen? Like, was it that?
It was that night. Yeah, it was a couple of hours later. So it was a real quick turnaround. But it got good reception from that crowd as well. It was actually funny. We came second in the kind of public vote by one vote, and I voted for the fucking movie that won. So, like the idiot that I am. So we lost by my vote. So remember that, people. Remember that. Always be selfish with your work. Always.
That's a pretty good lesson to learn.
It's one of those lessons where, like, you might hear your parents kind of say it or something. It's like, always vote for yourself. Like, you never know what could happen. Blah, blah, blah. Maybe it's just my dad. He was a prick. But no, but it's the kind of thing that you might hear from someone as advice, and you go like whatever, and you don't realize it until it happens.
So yeah, is this the first film you've directed?
Yeah, I'll say yeah. I've done a lot of I've directed a lot of theatre. I've directed kind of full-length plays and work like that. And I've worked on plenty of shorts. I've produced plenty of work. I've written sketches and stuff. This is my first kind of real, I'd say, tangible sort of foray into directing. It's a path that I do want to take, and it's a path that I am following. But I'd say I'd say this is my kind of first real proper crack at it. Like I've directed, I don't know, show reels and small bits of acting and things like that. But I wouldn't kind of feel comfortable saying that that's stuff that I've directed before. I'd say yeah, this is my. It's a yes or no question. Look where I'm going with it. But yes, it's my first film that I've directed. Yes.
Well, so you've mentioned you've done directing stage, done a lot of producing. Did you feel like it was a different experience directing a film from the past work that you have done? Absolutely, yeah. With something like this, of course, I was kind of directing myself in it, so that's got challenges in and of itself. But with theatre, you've just got so much time, and you can play with stuff, and you can grow to kind of form such a bond and a connection with a cast that you've spent sometimes like months with, so it can really. You can really be quite galvanized as a group in theatre, whereas in film, it's a lot snappier. So you're not building the same rapport, I guess, in some ways, but you're building a different kind of rapport, I guess, because you're all working very hard to develop something very quickly, quickly in comparison to theatre. So it builds a different kind of bond there. Theatre's World War One, cinema's World War Two. Stuck in the trenches over here for months at a time. Short, sharp battles.
I mean, you've made this film for your mate's film festival, but is it also are you wanting to make and direct more films? Or is this part of theatres being shut at the moment because of lockdown as well?
Can't really get to any, can you? But I mean, film's definitely where I don't think I've left the theatre entirely, but at this stage in my life, it's not where I'm at. I'm going more into film stuff. So at the moment, it will be more films. That the process for this was so. Because it was so quick and so easy to just sort of develop something at a good pace, I was really happy with it. So I think over the next few months, I will be aiming to develop a lot of these shorter, quicker kind of pieces that I can just sort of nail out. So that's where my head's at the moment. So you probably haven't seen the last of me, Kino. So be wary. Be wary, Chris Hale. Be wary.
Well, I'm excited to see more from you, man.
Yeah.
No, it'll be good. It'll be fun. I don't have a concept yet. Mate of mine's approached with a script that I might pursue, but ultimately, I'm going back to the drawing board. I'm going to see what comes up next.
Cool.
Well, we look forward to screening your next film.
Yeah.
You'll be there. No, I'd love to. I love Kino. I think it's such a good atmosphere, and it's such a good group of people. I haven't been for quite a while, and that's my detriment. You know, that's to my detriment. And it's kind of sad that I haven't been for a while because it's such a fantastic initiative and such a fantastic group. So definitely you'll see more of me.
Well, yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us tonight, Daniel.
No worries. Appreciate it. Thanks for interviewing me.
And welcome back. I forgot how much fun he was to interview.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you, Daniel. If you're not aware, he is available on the chat, probably chatting up a storm. And so now we shall move on to our next film, Vader's List by Gildas. This was sent in for last month's May the 4th,
Yep.
I believe. So yes, enjoy Vader's List.
Star Wars references.
Advice to live by. So, all right, so I think we'll go now on to another piece of film trivia. So, which of these Disney animated films was released first? The Princess and the Frog, The Sword in the Stone, and The Black Cauldron? Which one?
And while you're thinking about which one, we'll play The Thing I Left Behind in the Toilet by Nathaniel.
And that's when I wrote Romeo and Juliet. I want to make love to me right now. Oh, Delilah, I don't think I could. I mean, Delilah, we're at church. I couldn't possibly make love to you right now, cheeky.
You know, the Romans named the Roma tomatoes after the goddess Romesco, who was said to be so beautiful that when Da Vinci looked upon her for the very first time, he wept.
You seem to know a lot about Roma tomatoes, Dicky Balsato.
My great-great-grandparents, they were Venetians, huh? Bon appetit. Rosta tomati de oliviero, an ancient family recipe. You want to know the secret basting? Powdered yeast extract.
This wine is scrumptious. What did you say it was called?
In the old country, they called it Chianti. In Latin, that means wind spirit.
You better not be bullshitting me. I don't like bullshitters, Dicky.
I'd never give you a bum steer, baby.
And what if I was in the mood for one?
Delilah, I think I'm falling for you.
The feeling's mutual, teddy bear. You kiss like a bishop.
Sorry.
Don't be. I liked it. Dicky, where's the little ladies' room?
It's just down the hall. Oh, but it's unisex.
I'll be right back.
Oh, shit. I am so sorry. I can explain everything.
Dicky?
I know I shouldn't have forgotten it, but I did.
Dicky, what are you talking about?
Okay. Delilah, I went number 2 a few hours ago. And the toilet didn't flush. And I forgot to take care of it.
Dicky, relax. A little nobbler in your toilet bowl wouldn't have changed this perfect evening for me. Problem solved. See?
Delilah, you are an angel.
Dicky, I really need to go.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
sure know how to give a dog a bone.
What can I say? I was raised a Catholic. That feels so nice.
You know you can get it all night if you stay.
Dickie, I'm heading up to gastric banding procedures in the morning.
I know. I just don't want to see you go.
I'm off call next weekend.
Adio, Peora, Delilah von Schlappenstein.
Gute Nacht, mein Schatz. I can't wait to see you again.
I feel like I should apologize again.
Hush. No more words. Thank you for the perfect evening, boyfriend.
You're welcome, girlfriend.
Hey everyone, my name is Nathaniel Johnson. I directed The Thing I Left in the Toilet alongside my good friend Alec Ingleton. I directed a couple short horrors before, some of which I've played at Kino, but this is the first time Alec and I have worked together, and Alec's first film actually, so that was really exciting. We were originally going to do something a lot darker because we both love horror movies, but we then decided to just do something just funny and stupid and corny, so just to have fun. Yeah, the idea basically came about what would be the most embarrassing thing to happen on a date, so you will see that. The actor who plays Dickie, his name is Barry Backhouse, and the actress who plays Delilah is called Susanna. So yeah, hope you enjoy.
Well, thank you very much, Nathaniel. And did we get an answer to the trivia by any chance?
Yeah, we don't have a correct guess so far. Nathaniel Johnson has guessed the Black Cauldron, which is wrong. And no correct guesses have come in so far.
Okay.
Out of 3 possible answers.
Well, what are the other 2, Chris?
Well,
You got...
so we got,
50,
Princess and the...
50 chance.
Well, split 3 ways. Oh, well, it's not the Black Cauldron. Now it's a 50-50 chance.
We've had Andre guess Chronicles of Prodane, which is the book series that Black Cauldron is based on, which wasn't one of the options.
Wasn't one of the options, no.
Synaptic TV says Fear and Loathing in Disneyland, which wasn't one of the options.
No, but I like it. Alas. No, the answer was The Sword and the Stone, which was released in 1963. Black Cauldron was 1985, and Princess and the Frog was 2009. Alas. Well, what a note to end on. But we want to thank all of our wonderful filmmakers for submitting tonight, all of the wonderful filmmakers who took the time for interview and to be engaged in the chat.
Thanks to all the crew, once again, Brian, John, David, Nick, Donna, Addie, and to Sun Studios for the space. Thank you so much.
A big thank you to you, Christina.
And to you, Chris.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're missing something.
Well, obviously, a big thank you to all of you out there for coming in month after month and contributing to the wonderful discourse that we have here.
Shout out, yep.
Oh yes, another big shout out to Lockdown Lives this Thursday on Thursday the 18th at 7 p.m. Please do check that out.
And there's also Josh's film as well to catch.
Yes, which we will
post a link
post
for
a link
as well.
Our next Kino is August 10?
July, there is July, isn't there?
July,
it's in July,
some
mid-July.
date. We can't remember for the moment.
But we know August date, so.
But if you stay in touch with us on our Facebook, our Instagram, and
July
our website.
13th.
July 13th. A lucky number.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's it.
That's it from us.
So
have a lovely evening, and we'll see you
stay
next
safe
time.
still.
Yeah.
And keep on creating. Good night.
Good night. Bye. Crazy eye.